Welcome back, everybody, to the Autism Exchange podcast. I'm Michael Coldiron, joined by the JWoww Krimpa. How's it going?
It's going really well, thank you. Thank you. It's a good Monday. It's a very good Monday. How about
It
you?
is a good Monday. It's beautiful outside, too. No complaints. Yeah, it's a very, very beautiful day here. Allergies are a little bit but hey, I said when it was really cold outside, I don't care what else happens as long as it's no longer cold outside. So you won't get me complaining too much. You just might not be able to understand what's coming out of my mouth with all the allergy stuff. Welcome back to the Autism Exchange podcast, where we want to communicate and collaborate. Our goal is simple. Our goal is to just have good conversation with good people, and we choose and are very diligent about not shoving things down folks' throats. We don't want a specific goal for an episode. We quite literally show up and act like ourselves, and sometimes that's for better or for worse. And yeah, we take it from there. So today we're really, really, really excited for who is joining us. And we're going to do a little bit of a backward introduction because Janice and I have learned that the My Home, My Country theme tends to do a better job introducing someone than what we could do if we had a planned, well, there I am using the word plan, like we plan anything.
No, but I think it's true. I think, it's literally, in someone's own words. And then, we can work backwards to try to encapsulate it a little bit if needed. If needed, it probably won't be actually. So, okay,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is going to be great.
It will. So, without further ado, let's just jump right in. My Home, My Country, quickly for the rest of you who may not know what it is, but by now you should. My Home, My Country is sort of an explanation of what your home is like. So, Janice, at her house, you might not wear shoes when you come in. You might not be allowed to wear shoes. You might eat only certain foods. You might have certain candles burning, and that's what makes you happy. I'm certainly not going to come into Janice's house and go, man, that soup smells awful. And by the way, I'm wearing my shoes. And I just got out of the barn, so I got chicken poop all over them. You don't do that. At my home and in my country, my children run around naked all the time. My children climb up furniture and jump off of it. My children, thankfully, we live in the middle of nowhere, so it's not too weird unless people come over unannounced. But everybody's home and country is different, and it's a safe place. It's a set of rules or rituals that define who you are. So that said, My Home, My Country leads us to one fabulous question for the fabulous Farha Correll. Thank you for being here.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So here's the $1 million question.
My
Who are
home,
you?
my country. Who am I?
Yeah,
Who
your home,
am
your country. Who
I?
are you?
Oh, okay. Who am I? I am a mom of a 5-year-old autistic boy named Vincent. He's amazing and awesome, and my life just revolves around him mainly. That's who I am.
Yeah.
I just run around following him, doing whatever he needs. But aside from that, I own a car wash. I own a digital sign. I've been a hairstylist for 25 years. Love my job, but getting ready to retire from doing that. Um,
Wow.
that's it. And I also happen to be a widow. There's that too.
Okay.
That's a little on the personal side, but yeah, that's who I am.
That's a lot. That's a full plate. That's a very full plate.
It
Yeah.
is.
And it's funny that you said that's about it when you listed 4 or 5 just ginormous things that
Yes.
that stretch
know,
you
right?
absolutely thin. And oh no, that's all. That's just little old me. But
Just
I
me.
want to ask you. You said digital sign. Is that what you said?
Yeah, so digital signs, we have them here in Somerset up and down 27. Let me think. So you would know. So Tradewind Shopping Center, we have one there. Oak Hill Plaza, across the street from the gas station. There's the it's like on the corner of Oak Hill and 27, and it's kind of split.
Yeah.
You can see it from either side. That's
Mhm.
mine. Also have one on the side of a detached 2-car garage that I have at the car wash that faces McDonald's, because that McDonald's North gets a lot of traffic. And then there's one
Yep, it does.
so much traffic. And then I have one in Monticello.
Well, that's cool.
Really?
I've seen those. I've
You're all
seen most
over.
of those before, and I didn't realize that was you. That's cool. Well, maybe for Janice's birthday, I'm gonna get up with you, and we'll put something together and pop it up there.
Mhm.
Those
True
are
story.
already
My
spread.
dad one time, and I don't. I don't remember the guy's name, but maybe Dan. It might have been Dan, a friend of my parents' dad at one of his restaurants put on the billboard, "Lordy, Lordy, Dan's 40," on his birthday, but it was
Nice.
like his 39th or something.
Perfect. It's
Maybe we'll
not
go
been
down that
long
road.
since I've seen one of those on the Castle one. The Castle has a digital sign one, and they had one of those
Uh-huh,
calling someone out for turning
uh-huh.
40. I was like, "Ah, that's good."
That is good, I like that. What do you do for
Like
fun?
that.
For fun. That's a hard one, because the things that I used to do for fun were I love to hike, I just love outdoors, I love swimming, I love to travel, um, been to a few places, um, and, I used to like to watch movies, so you talked about movies. I love watching movies. I miss watching movies, spending entire days just watching, like, trilogies or just, like, my husband and I would spend, like, the whole month of October watching nothing but horror films, and then Christmas, nothing
Oh,
but
Oh,
wow.
wow.
Christmas films. Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
And we would never deviate. And then, another month we'd be like, okay, we're gonna not watch nothing but stuff by Quentin Tarantino. Let's go. But I
That's
don't get
Quentin
to do a
great.
Tarantino
lot of
movies
Love
are
that.
awesome.
I know, right? He's so
So
good.
cool.
Life changing, some of those movies, like changed the way I saw film, starting out so young, watching things like Pulp Fiction and stuff.
Yeah.
Especially that because it's not like climatic, it's episodic, so super cool. Um,
Very neat.
and then nowadays though, my fun involves Vincent doing whatever makes
Yeah.
him happy. Because if he's happy, I'm happy, and all is good in the world. So we go roller
Yeah.
skating, lots of time outside, doing things like playing in the sprinkler, hopping fences to
Mhm.
visit the neighbor's horses. Like
Mhm.
just me running after
Yep.
him. Likes that.
I know that feeling. Well, we don't have a specific set of questions for you. As usual, our plan is no plan. We're here to just to get to know you and talk, but I know you personally, and I know Vincent personally. And by the way, what an amazing kid. I mean, he is awesome. He is extremely smart. And I don't know if
Small.
there's a market I don't know if Baby Gap is still hiring models or not, but he's the most beautiful human being. Like he's just such a
Aw.
handsome little fella.
He
Uh,
really is so cute. I've heard that many times. Like, put that baby in modeling. I'm like, he will not smile. Like, if you want like a little kid just scowling at you, he's beautiful while he does it. But
Yeah. I don't know. I've seen a lot of, like, models on magazines. They do not look happy. They
no,
they
really do
don't,
not look
because they're
happy. I don't
hungry.
know
no.
what it is that they've just eaten. I was gonna it probably is. But actually, while we're talking about it,
That's
Vincent, do you mind just telling us a little bit about him? Aside from his gorgeousness, which I'm certain as I'm looking at you, I'm thinking, of course he is. But can you just tell me a little bit about Vincent?
Oh gosh. He is very smart, very smart. Noticed it right off when he was little. His problem solving skills were always like, wow. He does
Mm.
love to climb like a lot of little boys do, and he's very good about it and very cautious in how he does it, which was awesome because sometimes kids have no fear and he is very careful, which I love that he is very meticulous in that way. Now sometimes he gets a little wild, or it looks scary, but he is very aware of what he's doing. He taught himself how to swim all by himself
Oh
because
my.
he yeah, well, wouldn't let me teach him anything. He just figured it out on his own. Like he was like, get the swimming off me, and started like where's the deep end? Okay, here's the deep end. Okay, now I'm gonna learn how to float. And then before I knew it, he's like, I'm holding my breath, and then he was swimming. So
Isn't that
I
crazy?
guess
Wow.
insane, yeah. And then here recently, he's taught himself how to ride his bicycle, and I have to it's
Wow.
hard because I have to step back, and not help him
Yeah.
because that's when he really does, like, the big stuff, like, he's pedaling, and I thought he
Yeah.
couldn't steer it, and he totally can. Like, he's steering, he's doing it down the driveway, and he stops when the driveway starts to go down and just stops and is like, "I'm good
Right.
now. This is not safe." The other day, he
Wow.
figured out
Wow.
how to use a little scooter, finally figured out that he's gotta take his little foot, um everything is like that. He's very, very independent, which makes things really hard for me because I want to help him and be like,
Mhm.
I can teach you a little different. I can make this better. But he likes to learn things all on his own,
He
and that's
does.
hard.
I can back that up with him too, and so much of, what I have known about Vincent is self-driven as a good thing, but then also he gets
Mhm.
in his own way sometimes. And I say that with
Yeah.
love because my children are the same
Yes.
way, both autism and without, Levi without
Yes.
autism. There are so many things that I know, and I guess I'm kind of leading into something that I want to hear you talk about. Um, Given that you're okay to do so, I it is so difficult for me to be a therapist and a parent and a husband and all of the things that I do. And I do it because I love it. But with autism,
Yeah.
it's so hard because you said it yourself. You can't sit and watch movies when you feel like it. You can't go do this when you feel like it. There's so many things that you can't do. But what I
Yeah.
know about you is that you celebrate the things that you can do. What I think that does is frame it as it's not that I am super upset because PJ has autism. I'm super upset because my personality used to fly by the seat of my pants, and no matter what, I would say yes to it and go do it and enjoy it. And now I can't do those things. So I had a choice to
Yeah.
make, and that was, am I going to just be sad and mad forever that I can't do the things that I used to do? Or am I able to look around me and find some beautiful things that I get to do, not have to do, that I get to do, and
Okay.
choosing to focus on the positive? And that sounds like such an easy thing to say, doesn't it? If I say it that way, go, oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
just be happy. Everybody can do it. Uh-uh. It's a different animal. So if that resonates with you at all,
Huge. It does so much. It's something I try and instill in Vincent. Like in the mornings going to school, the moment we turn on Langdon Street to get to Memorial, the preschool he goes to, I mean, he'll like lately it's been real fun. Sticks his fingers in his ears and holds his breath. And I'm like, good job. That's wonderful. And I remind him, I'm like, it's not going to change the outcome, baby. We get to go to school. We get to have
uh-huh.
fun with our friends. We get to see Miss Samantha or your aides, and mommy gets to go to work. So I always try to push that because it's how I talk myself through a lot of life. Because sometimes I would rather be out in the woods
Uh-huh.
hiking by myself or just going to I used to love to exercise and lift weights and do all kinds of stuff like that, be physical like that, although sports are not my thing. That I can't do, not coordinated enough. But, like, I like physical things, physical activities, um, and I don't always get to do that, um,
Mhm.
so definitely trying to focus on what I do get to do. I get to hang out with my boy.
At the risk of sounding like a very, I don't know, yucky, bland, canned statement, you're a woman who has so many things going on professionally and personally. And I think the cheesy way to put it, or the common way to put it, is how do you do it? How do you make time for all of those things? But I do want to hear again. I'm looking sort of enviously from one parent to another who I also have a lot of responsibilities and a child with autism. But how does it feel for you? Like, what's a normal day? How do you keep all of these things that you're juggling up in the air and still be the rock star that you are for Vincent?
Ah, honestly, it's a moment by moment thing. It's all I can like,
Mhm.
that's how I have found that I cannot really think like I'm here right now. I'm in this moment, and I have to do moment by moment because if I start looking towards, well, I have to do this and this and this and that later, then I start getting overwhelmed. So if I can stay in the moment and tackle what I'm doing in that moment, that's what kinda gets me through the day. Otherwise, I get very overwhelmed because it is a lot.
Mhm.
Because I am solo parenting. I don't have, like, this big, huge village. You
Mhm.
hope you're like, "I'm gonna have a child, and then I'm gonna have this big village, and, like, my kid's gonna have all these friends," and then that kinda didn't happen, and that's okay. And some of it is because he doesn't really like to hang out with other kids as much as I'm trying
Yeah.
to force it, but, it is and but I don't have like I said, I don't have a lot of family. It's we're down to I have a cousin in Guatemala, my mom that lives here in Somerset, and my cousin who lives here in Somerset, and she's got like 400 kids. Just kidding. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 kids. So she's very,
If
very
anything
busy.
above 2 kids, anything above 2, you can put 100 at the end of it. So if
Yes,
it's 3 kids, now
that's
you have
how I feel.
300.
That's what, yeah.
Yes.
So on that village thing, Farha, the you don't have a big village. You're exactly right. All of us, and I don't know if I know you were telling us prior to clicking record that you had listened to some of the more recent episodes. I don't know if you yet heard "Welcome to Holland," that poem. Have you heard that?
Haven't gotten there yet, no. Wait,
Okay, it's
yes.
fine. It's not our.
Yeah.
It's not a Michael and Janice poem. It's something that's out there.
Yes.
But I'm gonna send it to you. You did okay.
No, it's like you
Um,
think you're going to Italy, but you end up in Holland.
Right.
yeah,
Is it
yeah,
something like
yeah,
Yep.
that? I don't know that I've heard it on the
Mhm.
yep.
podcast, but I've heard it somewhere else. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
so
and you just
with that poem, I think we all have these expectations that we're gonna have children and it's gonna be like this sounds like I'm complaining and I'm really not, but you expect it to be like everything that you see from other people in your life. You know, it seems like everybody else has, oh, I'm taking my kids to soccer. And then there's like 7 adults that came just to help corral the kids. And well, what about the infant? How are they not, oh, so-and-so's got them in the back. They're in there. They're watching TV. Like I expected to have that kind of help, but I don't, I want to be clear that this is not a reflection on you. And I don't believe it's a
yeah,
reflection on me or on Kirsten for us not having villages because it's not a personal thing.
no.
It's a challenge thing. You're counting on
Yeah,
other people to show up and do some of the most difficult stuff that an adult could have to do in their free time. And
yeah.
frankly, you can't blame them because nobody, hey, could you guys come over real quick? Because I'm going to sit in the corner and scream at the top of my lungs, and I may or may not throw a screwdriver at your face. Nobody's gonna be like, oh, that sounds great. I'll be right there. So your
Right?
Yeah.
village kind of naturally shrinks, and
It does.
that sucks. It's awful, but it is what it is. And then you're left to handle the stresses that come with that. And I'll be careful not to overstep or over ask, but you've mentioned now to us that you're a solo parent. And I would imagine
Mhm.
that going through that process alone, Janice and I have talked about grief. We think that grief is um, part of an autism diagnosis processing thing. Doesn't mean you don't love your kid, but you grieve. You're sad. It's different. You're going to
Yeah.
Holland and not Italy. And so
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that knowing how impactful that is, I think when you add grief of another type on top of that, that is just such a burden for one person to have to handle. And when you can handle that, as I have known you to handle that, that's why I'm excited to ask you to come on here and talk to us because it's Superwoman. And I don't think you know that you're Superwoman.
Mhm.
But you do all of that stuff, and then you show up for your little
thank
boy
you.
every day in a way that most people can't.
Yeah, yeah. Grief. That's a big one there. There is grief in getting a diagnosis like that. Once it's like actually like on paper and it's hard, like it's real. Because I suspected from a very, very young age. But I wanted to believe what everybody said. Oh, he'll be fine. He'll start talking soon and all that. I wanted to. At the same time that in the background, I'm like, I'm signing him up for first steps and getting some therapy, because I am that kind of person. I'm like, I'm just gonna,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
he's gonna
Yeah.
talk. He's gonna be, when he turns 3, he's gonna talk. When he turns 4, he's gonna talk. But still, I'm gonna just do this just in case. And then, like we had talked before, when Vincent was 2 years old, his father passed. Um, and that already, like, I'm grieving that process. And then when Vince's actual diagnosis came, like, it compounds. Um, and then
Mhm.
I don't know if, I assume at this age we start losing people in our lives. When one person passes and then another one does, it's like it all comes together. It all compounds. Like you think about, well, I just lost so and so, and it's a lot. And for me and my family, it was, including Victor, was 5 family members in 5 years. And like I just explained, I have
Wow.
very few family members left. So it
Mhm.
was it was crushing. It really crushed. And I had to, I guess, to protect myself and be able to go and be there for Vincent and be a mom, like there was a lot of suppression of that because there was not a lot of time to just sit and wallow in it, which I really wanted to do. um,
Mm-hmm.
but you just can't because you've got this small child that needs you. Um,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and then yeah, so that was tough. It was difficult, and a lot of it now looking back is a blur. like those
Yeah.
first
Really?
2, 3 years. It's blurry, it's messy. I don't. It happened, but, like, I couldn't tell you the details of it unless I look at pictures, of what
Mm,
Vincent and
yeah.
I did and stuff, because I couldn't. I had a really fantastic therapist that got me through it, I have to say, and gave me all the tools that I needed to be like, "Alright, I'm going, I'm moving," um, and apparently I did so well that she tried breaking up with me once, and I wouldn't let her. I was like, I'm telling you all the right things. I still need you. Don't leave me."
That's an interesting thing about therapy, and I'm sorry, Farha. The piece where a parent of a child with a developmental disability, I can't tell you the number of times when I do evaluations here in the office, and I say to parents, "How are you doing?" Like, I know what you're here for. I've already asked you what's up with your kid and why you're here. I get that. But, like, how are you? Because if you're not okay, like, if you're not 100%, or even if you are at 100% and you feel like you're capable of 110%, it's not bad. There's no harm. It's not, there is no, and obviously you've gone through enough I can't even imagine. But even to the people that are just thinking, I'm stressed out about autism. I don't know what
Mhm.
to expect. I'm nervous. I'm scared. I'm confused. There's nothing wrong. Go see a therapist. What's wrong? I've
Yeah,
done it. I go when
yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
healthy and I'm going, hey, what's up? What can we fix? Is there something broken? Because fix me or make me better if you don't fix
yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Help me sort this
There's nothing
I
wrong
think
with that.
There
that's
is
probably one of the
nothing wrong.
hardest questions. That's a bit of a trick question with My Home, My Country, Michael, because I think that one of the hardest things to do is to answer who are you, and how are you? And so,
Mhm.
Fahar, I'm imagining that when this was all going on, if somebody said, "Hey, how are you?" Whether they meant it casually or they meant it like, "I see you. I wanna sit next to you to ask and hear your this question." I would like how difficult that would be for someone to show up for themselves or for their child and then be asked that question. It's almost like I'm in the fast lane. I don't even know that I can stop long enough to answer that question because if I stop long enough to answer that question, I may
Yeah,
not be able to get back in the fast lane.
that's
And so that
exactly what it
that
was
could be
like.
really tricky. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, most of the time I'd be like, "Great, I'm doing fantastic." And, like, literally just lying
Yeah.
to myself through it because the few times that I would say, then it was just like I would just fall apart, and I don't have time to fall apart, because I do run some businesses and I have a child that needs me. There's no time to fall apart. I have to just go. Go, 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 go. Which is fine, I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine.
No,
Don't you
but
worry.
I well, but I think part of what seems to be shaping from this conversation, and then forgive me if I'm wrong or if I'm on the wrong track, um, that there's the stress of motherhood, the stress of motherhood of a child with a disability, and being a solo parent, and all of that. There's in not having the village that you maybe planned on or hoped for. So all of these things, are grieving and a bit of loss, and it's like leaving Holland to go someplace else entirely. Like we're in our fifth
Yeah.
country, it seems like, with the journey that
Yeah.
you've been on. And I think about the stress that that must have been like and continues to be. And so part of me, I guess, selfishly too, is how you said before about, you have to do something, you get to do something versus having to do something. And I think that's so key. Are there other things that you think of that like, okay, this is how I get through the day. This is what I do to reset my button, to reset my my perspective on things. And, it doesn't necessarily have to be denial or shutting something off, but like truly, what would you want to share with our listeners who are also struggling to different degrees, about sort of like your perspective on this and sort of how you see Vincent fitting into this perspective as well?
Yeah. The game changer on that, and you all talked about it, is gratitude. I practice
Mhm.
gratitude
Oh,
daily. It is, yeah. All we talk about it. So when Vincent and I drive to school, we because we're people of faith and we are believers.
mhm.
So we go through all the things we're grateful for every morning on our way to school. And that right there, it changes everything, right? It changes your mindset. It changes how you show up, how I show up for Vincent, how I show up for my clients in the salon, how I show up for even my employee at the car wash, you know? It just changes everything. It makes it makes the hard things not seem so bad. And sometimes the things I'm grateful for can be just simple. Like I'm just grateful for this little hillside right here because everything's green and it's beautiful, and it reminds me that there is something so much bigger than my little problems and that there are worse. There's always going to be something worse, right? It could always be worse. And I get to be Vincent's mom. I know that in a
Yeah.
world where everything is perfectly designed, me being Vincent's mom was a perfect design. There is something about me that made me perfect for
Yeah.
him and him perfect for me. So if I know that and I believe that, then I know I'm going to be okay and I know he's going to be okay. And we're going to be okay together.
Okay. That might be my favorite thing that I've ever heard. I love that.
I
I
can't
love
I
that.
can't disagree at all. I've actually got chills right now. Just
Yeah.
as I do, I think it's kind of a curse of mine that I have to turn everything back on and like put myself under that same lens. And so I'm thinking about as you're talking and I'm going, man, I have so many opportunities to do those things and I don't, not near as much as I should. And I think that just like me, anybody else who listens to this should and likely will hear that or feel that the same way I did. Like there is always, like you said, it could always be worse, but then there are always things that we can improve upon. And there are ways that we can shift our
Yep.
focus to see not just so much tunnel vision. And I'm very guilty of that. I'll be honest with you, having a kid who can't verbalize whatever's going through his head or his heart, that
Yeah.
makes me very anxious sometimes when it comes to illness, when it comes to anything, when I'm not standing there. What happened? You don't know. And I think that gives us so much tunnel vision sometimes that we laser focus. And I really love that you're taking a deep breath and kind of taking in the whole landscape instead of just staring down the tunnel. And when you do that, I think I'm hearing you say that it allows you to have a much different perspective. And that's very meaningful. So I appreciate that very much.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, it's
Indeed.
important,
Yeah.
right, to have that different perspective because of things like that. I mean, and I know exactly what you mean, Vincent. Yesterday, we are playing in the little pool. Something hurt his foot. I don't even know what it was. And he has, like a lot of other autistic kids, he has a really high tolerance for pain. And he was distraught,
Mhm.
like something got him. I think he got stung. I don't know. I couldn't tell because I couldn't see anything. And he was like rubbing his foot. And at one point, I tried to look, and he usually is he's not usually his physicality is just love. Like he wants to kiss me, he wants to hug me, he wants to love me, but he grabbed my head and pulled him in like I am not okay. And in a moment like that, the panic,
Mhm.
right? That panic that just
Yep.
washes over like how do I fix it? I don't know what it is. I don't see anything. And I had to just be like, baby, let's just focus on one thing. He was in the tub. Now I remember. I was like, let's get out of the tub. Let's dry off so mommy can look. Let's take one step at a time out of this so that we can like both catch our breath because you're freaking out, I'm freaking out. Let's calm down. Like it's gonna be okay, I hope.
I can almost guarantee you that this will be just fine.
Right.
Exactly. You're not bleeding, there's no bone sticking out.
That's the threshold we're gonna start with right there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
I
always my thing. You're not bleeding?
exactly, that's already a check mark in the good column. Like, that's a good thing. That there's something also, um, I think I read something or a podcast somewhere about, narrating what you're doing and what you're feeling is a really great way to sort of like move through it a little bit. So when you were talking
Yeah.
about, okay, we're going to get out of the tub and then we're going to dry you up and then a mommy's going to look and like that's such an important piece of being able to move through the difficult moments and difficult feelings is just to sort of narrate to yourself, but out loud actually is better than
Yeah.
silently in your head. And it sounds like you just have all these innate things that you're doing that are, tried and true things that work, but it seems to come really natural to you. And, I just find that um, inspiring that you're sort of doing these things that you've found that, I don't want to say help but make sense of and encourage you to keep, to keep going and work through your stress and overwhelm in a way that's practical. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
And it helps both of us. It helps me, right? And
Mhm.
then it helps Vincent because you always hear and you read with autistic children, you're always going to, you presume competence, right? So I don't ever want to just like yank him out of a tub. Like I'm going to walk him through what I'm going to do. And I mean, and that's everything. Everything I do around
Mm.
the house, I narrate because well, I want to have a house full of language and have it be rich because it wasn't always like that when his dad, after he was born and his dad was around. With his mental health issues sometimes and talk to you all about that. It was a very quiet home. Um, and we had to
Uh-huh.
be quiet and we had to be small. Um, and now it's just him and I, so we're just like it sometimes I sing the things that I'm doing. Sometimes like I'm going to the kitchen, mommy's gonna do some dishes, like everything I do I narrate. But I
Mhm.
think it helps him to know like, okay, mom's doing something. And he did. He calmed
Mhm.
down, and we both calmed down. And then I was like, honey, I don't see anything. I think that you're okay. Let's get you dressed. And it helps. It helps him. It helps me. I hope it helps him. I don't know. He seemed to be better.
It is. It is.
Probably.
It is helping, and I can tell you this, I'm not a speech therapist, right? But I I am an occupational therapist, and having been around speech therapists my entire career, you always hear them say everything has to be a language-rich environment. Narrate everything, label everything,
Yes.
everything you do. But I'll tell you what's cool, and here's something that I don't think you realize you're doing, that I want to point out to you. You know your child better than anybody on the planet. Better than anybody
Yeah.
on the planet knows Vincent. You've had a lot of therapists around you who would say, speech therapists who would say, make a language rich environment, label everything you do, say it out loud, narrate, nah, nah, nah. But what you're doing is somewhere in the middle. You have figured out what makes Vincent tick and how to connect
Yeah.
that to what the therapists are telling you. And this is just one example. I think you could use not just therapist. You could say anybody and doctor, whatever. But you know him so well that you're doing a great job of taking that information and putting it on his plate in a way that is understandable. And I'll give you an example. Vincent loves to sing, doesn't he? He sings all the time.
All the time.
And
All the time.
if you can put something into a song and he can sing along or at least understand, he's much more willing to engage. And Janice and I talk about a lot. Here's
There it is.
a throwback Thursday on a Monday, but a throwback to the day we talked about how you're sitting on a park bench and there's a child with autism with their own book. You don't just walk up and rip the book out of their hand and say, "Here, read my book." It takes effort and patience and understanding and willingness to ask questions and have grace and have gratitude. Sit down with them and then every day inch a little bit closer. Then engage in their book and then eventually maybe they'll engage in yours. You
Yes.
are a perfect illustration of that. This is exactly what you're
Yeah.
doing. You're being told this information from clinical healthcare science, and then your baby boy, and you as his mother are very, very good at, okay, let me take this information and do it in a way that's practical to my son. It's not as easy as, and I have a kid with autism too, remember, it's not as easy as take what a therapist or a doctor or somebody else tells you to do and then just go put it on. It's not a t-shirt. You can't just go put it on him and then it works. It takes effort. So if nobody has thought or noticed to tell you that, like, two huge thumbs up for beautifully illustrating exactly how we want to work with these people with autism, you're doing it. You're crushing it.
Thank
I think,
you. Thank
2
you.
things that I was thinking about, yes, kudos, and I was thinking you are sort of, taking out the middleman, if you will, so you're getting speech and language pathologists and OTs and PTs and educators and all that, and they're saying, "Okay, this is what you need to do. You need to do this around the home, and you need to do this and do things this way," and those are sort of recommendations, but it's kind of like when you're learning a foreign language and you get all this vocabulary and you're learning it, and then over time, you start to dream and think in that language. So therefore, it's not like it's not a foreign language anymore. It's just another language that you speak. And I feel
Yeah.
like what you're doing when you're dancing and singing and having fun and narrating all these different things and how you just, handle like physically handle him and this is what we're going to do. You've cut out the middleman. You're now momming, if so to speak, if that's a verb,
Yeah.
um, in a way that is sort of who you are, but infused with some of the things that you know that Vincent needs. So you are, when you said, you get to be Vincent's mom, I think that that to me is so much more encompassing than what people would think because you're taking in so much more information and all of that love and compassion and care, and that's all part of being Vincent's mom. It's not just saying, "I get to be his mom," and that's it, we have each other. You're taking so much more information and recommendations from all different people and from the diagnosis itself, and that becomes your motherhood, and that
Yeah.
becomes how you mom, and so it's it's separate. It's not saying, "Oh, I was given these recommendations to do these things, so therefore I'm going to do them." It seems to be something that you've just taken on as, "Okay, this is now how I do things. This is not what I'm
Yeah.
going to do. This is just how I do things." Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm
Yeah.
thinking about right now is you're saying that is like, I am the filter. I am the filter through which all of this information comes through and out. And as I'm filtering and I'm sifting, I'm tailoring to accommodate
Mhm.
him and accommodate me too, because I'm part of this too. We're doing this together, right? So like I have to filter through everything that comes at me, like supplements, how to potty train, how to incorporate language, writing skills, all these things that everybody is throwing at me, and I have to make it work. And I have to filter through all of it because sometimes if it doesn't always work. And so many things I have done
Mhm.
as they recommended, as people have recommended, and it just doesn't. I have to remember that he is my little person and I am his person and that I do know him better than something clinical, something paper, or something I saw on Instagram, like so
Mhm.
I do. There is a filtration system that runs through me and out.
Another throwback. I love these buttons. This is gonna get
Haha,
made
you
all
gotta
the
get
time.
used ready for these things. They could come sideways when
I
you least
cannot.
expect it, so
I'd have
I
yet to
love it.
say the word spit, okay? We have yet to talk about spit, and we've made it
that's probably because you have something
40
else ready.
40 minutes. No, I don't. I told you, I'm gonna take it easy today.
Okay. Okay.
Now I've forgotten why I hit the throwback button. Oh, no, so the throwback is we talked about how when in one of the early episodes when we talked with Kara Burton, Dr. Kara Burton, an occupational therapist, how a therapist doesn't come in and say, "Here's what I'm gonna do, and it's gonna work no matter what." And if that's what they say to you, but bye. Or if they come and say, "It's
Yeah,
my way or the highway," bye. But what a
Mm.
good therapist does is they come in and very blunt and transparent with the parent. I have 3 or 4 different approaches to accomplish this same goal. The first one I try may absolutely fail. If it does, I promise I'm going to back up and look at me first. What can I change? Because your kid doesn't have to change to fit into my box. And you just described that and you called yourself the filter. I would almost put that same analogy onto you as a parent. Like it's
yeah,
okay to say to a therapist, that didn't work. I expect if I'm working with somebody on potty training here in the office and I ask the parent how it's going, I don't want just a generic, it's fine. No, I want to know because it's okay if
yeah,
I failed. It's all right as if I, as a therapist, did not succeed right now. That doesn't mean it's not that easy. It doesn't mean that I'm a bad therapist or you're a bad mom. What it means is, all right, cool. Thanks for communicating. Let's put our heads together and come up with another something. And
mhm,
so you said
yeah,
earlier it's not just about Vincent, it's about you and Vincent and you're together in this. And so I want
mhm,
parents to think of, and I'm saying therapist because I am one, but think of these other people in your lives as just part of that unit. It's not the
yeah,
therapist is going to tell you and Vincent what to do, how to be better. It's that a good therapist is part of your life and cares about Vincent at the grocery store, cares about Vincent and whether or not he's getting his favorite food, or it doesn't matter. Like
yeah,
the day that Vincent poops on the potty, I fully expect a text message, Vincent pooped on the potty. Maybe I don't want a picture of the poop itself, but I just want to know. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just part of being a unit. If it's okay, I want to skip over to another question I have for you. It's kind of back
sure,
to my
shoot.
home, my country. Okay.
Okay.
We
I don't know them.
heard about what you like to do.
Yeah.
We got a little bit about what Vincent likes to do as far as singing and being mobile and stuff like that, but it's a two-part question. To further the My Home, My Country thing, what are some things
Oh,
that
yes.
Vincent loves and or you love about Vincent? That's part one. And then, excuse me, and then in part two, if you were in a grocery store with Vincent and he absolutely freaks out and has a full-on meltdown for something, whatever, I want the candy bar or I got bumped into, what do you want other people around you to do?
Oh, okay. That was okay. Like I'm gonna go backwards, and you might have to remind me of what those questions were. The let's start with the supermarket thing. Like we're at the grocery. Like Vincent has a meltdown. Honestly, I would prefer you just ignore us and go about your business.
Okay.
just
Uh-huh.
just go about.
Okay.
But if not something lovely, just smile. Just smile. Just a smile like I see you, and
Hmm.
that I think could go a long way. I have had once somebody see me chasing my Vincent into we were in an outdoor area at a restaurant and kept running in, and the lady stopped me and she was lovely. She was like, "Hey mom, you're doing a great job. Is there anything I can help you with?" Now that is like exceptional for somebody to do that.
Yeah.
But if I could just get a smile, and if you can't throw me a smile and you're feeling like you want to throw me something else, just ignore us. Just let us go about our business. I
Mm-hmm.
know that's not awesome, but sometimes I've had so much of the looks, the stares, the hands up in the air and the
Mm.
pointing that just it's okay. You stay in your lane, I'm gonna stay in mine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Until you come over into my lane and then you're going to unleash Papa Bear and nobody's going to like it.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and I've had some of those
Mhm.
moments, maybe, I don't know, a couple
Well,
times.
you have to, and
But
we talk about this all the time on this podcast
Yeah.
that you have to build such armor for yourself to
mhm.
go to the grocery store. Something that people take so for granted. I mean,
Yeah.
oh, we went to the restaurant and it took 5 extra minutes for our food. I complained and we got a free steak. Good for you, loser. It makes me
Yeah.
so mad
Yeah.
because you get to go to a restaurant and worry about time. I'm in a restaurant.
Yeah.
I'm worried about if PJ's stealing food from somebody else's table, which he has done, walking through a restaurant before, being led
Oh,
to
that's
our
fun.
table, reaches up onto a table and takes a roll out of somebody's food, bites it and puts it back down there on their table.
I
So
love that.
we're more concerned about like surviving a meal, let alone that your steak wasn't cooked properly.
I know, right?
People we talk about grace a lot. I'm refraining from hitting the Thursday button, throwback Thursday button, but we talk about having grace. It's really not that hard to just look at somebody and say, "Man, I don't know what's up with them," and then just shut your mouth and walk away. It's
Yes.
fine.
Yes, just smile and go on. Just
Mhm.
smile at me
Yeah,
if you want, or don't. Just go on. It's okay.
it was funny
It's
that
that grace. Just have a little grace.
Yeah.
it was
A
Yeah.
just
lot.
I think we just released it this morning or this afternoon, actually. Janice and I were talking about, oh, what exactly was it? It wasn't just having grace. Shoot. Well, it'll come back to me in a second. But yeah, it's really not that hard to do nothing or to say, oh, I know what it was.
Yeah.
I told Janice in that conversation, I think we just posted it today or published it today, that I think sometimes we want people want to do so much, they want to help, and sometimes they just want to be ugly, but sometimes they're really trying to be helpful, but it's not helpful at all. And in those moments, we want to know like what I don't even really I cannot put this into words in a way that will make sense to you guys. But hearing as a parent, you're doing great, or you're doing well, or you're doing a good job. That is it. Like I can't think of, as a parent of a child with autism myself, I can't think of a higher place on the ladder than that, because you all of these things are under one little phrase. You're doing great. It's 3 words. But what I
Mhm.
hear is, I know you're struggling. I know you're trying to
I
hold it
see you.
together.
I
I
see
see
you.
you.
See you.
There's just
That's what
so
I
much
felt. I
in
was like,
that.
you see me. And it just makes me teary even thinking about it because I was like, this woman, a stranger, she saw me. And
Mhm.
it was nice. It was really,
Yeah.
Mhm.
really nice to be
Yeah.
seen like that. Especially when you're doing so much of it on your own, to actually have someone stop you and be so intentional and immaculate with their words, and just to say something so simple also but so profound, like, and all I was like, I see you. That's I felt
Mhm.
that's in my soul, and it was nice. Really,
Mhm.
really nice.
I
But
love that. I
it
love
was
that.
lovely.
So part one of that now in retrospect, I'm like, wow, you asked a 2-part question. Both
You
parts
did. You
had
asked a
nothing to do with
three-part
each other. But
question, and I've gotten it was 3 parts
okay, well, you know what?
on the
I
Mahoma
I
country.
I I can't focus very well a lot of the time. I get excited when we get to talk to people like you, and I have so many things I just want to get it out there before I forget. Thankfully, I am taking notes, but, one thing I like to ask people, we talked about the grief and some of the harder parts of autism, but I personally feel like it's really important to try to find the positives and the good things about it. We've talked about that Vincent's extremely smart and he's a really good problem solver. That happened not by accident, but it, I believe, is the product of the challenges that Vincent has that taught him how to better problem solve. But without getting too technical or clinical, I just want to know, like, what are the things that you love about Vincent? And they can be also generalized into what are some things you love about autism, because everybody, it's awful a lot of the time, but there are also beautiful things if you're willing to be a Farha Correll and back up and look at the whole green hill in front of you instead of having that Michael Cold Iron tunnel vision. So what are some
Yeah.
things you love about Vincent slash autism?
Love that he wakes up singing songs. He
Oh,
literally will wake up and immediately start singing, and it's so sweet and such a beautiful way to wake up in the morning, and I attribute that to his autism. It's that the way that it's like his way of saying good morning, and I'm here, and I'm present, and connecting his body to what's happening. He's waking up, and I think that's beautiful. Um, and he's so good at singing, memorizing songs, like, really kind of amazing. There have been times where I'm like, "How did you memorize that after hearing it once?" Like, so good, and
hmm,
his tone is so good, and just that's just so lovely. His little singing voice, it's my favorite thing about him.
it is
The
very
way he'll
cute.
just sing. It is so cute. Like this morning when we were praying on our way to church, and he just out of nowhere started singing I don't know if you've heard of Listener Kids. So they're Christian songs for
I
kids.
think I
And
have heard of it. Yeah.
okay, well, we're praying and we're practicing our gratitude and all that. And as I'm going through it, he, he starts going, "What a mighty God we serve! What a
Oh,
mighty!" And he's just singing as I'm just like, "Oh, I just love you. Just want to turn
yeah.
around and just squeeze you." And then that's the
Uh
other
huh.
thing. He is so loving and so affectionate. Such a sweet, sweet little boy. Did my car just turn off? That's weird.
Well, we can still hear you, so we're good as long as you're good.
Okay, that's good. Okay, yeah. I'm afraid it's gonna
There you are.
stop.
Okay.
And then I'm
It's all
afraid
right.
to turn the car
Hey,
on and
listen,
then have it stop.
if we've not learned anything else through the autism exchange, we have learned how to roll with the punches because we have
Okay.
absolutely
Absolutely.
been dealt some doozies.
And this
Um,
is nowhere near a train wreck. So we've
Yeah.
had a few of
no,
those.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Michael,
Oh,
I
I
thought you
love
were gonna do a
listening.
throwback Thursday to train wreck. Yeah.
There we go.
You don't have to ask me twice to push one of these buttons. I'm happy. Well, is there anything, uh, Farha, is there anything on your mind that you want to say? Like I said early on, this is not we don't have a specific goal, but we want to bring awesome people like
Um,
you on here and let you tell us about you because we will all learn from it. As
yeah.
I will, I know Janice will, and our listeners will. But are there things that you just wish people understood, or something that you would want to say to other people? I mean, unfortunately, you're not going to be the only solo parent of a child with a developmental disability, and that adds a layer that I don't. And I think about myself. What would I do? How could I survive that? How could I do it? And I don't know. But you bring such a unique perspective to this, and I want you to have an opportunity without Janice and I yapping, just to say anything that is on your heart, on your mind, or questions that you would want to ask us, anything like that.
So I want people to know that you should trust yourself with these children. Trust what you feel. Trust your gut. Like if something doesn't feel right, move on. Um, if something that you have seen on social media or something like that, like, and you're like, "I wanna try this," and it doesn't work, it's okay. You don't have to try everything everyone suggests. You have to make sure that
Hmm.
what you're doing with your child is gonna work for both of you. Because everything looks really, really pretty on social. And even when you're in a therapist's office, you're like, yeah, that sounds amazing. And then you take it home and you apply and it doesn't, and you feel like you fail. You're not a failure. It's just one thing that didn't work for you. Do the things that are going to work for you, tailor it, filter it, put it through your filtration system. How's it going to work
Mhm.
for you and your child? Because you're doing this together. It's not just you by yourself. You have this little person that's doing it with you. I am not by myself. I have Vincent, and days when
Mhm.
it's tough, and he comes up and he stops me and pulls my arms down and gives me a kiss, I'm reminded of that. I am not by myself. I've got this
Yeah.
sweet little soul in my life.
Yeah.
And, I
Well,
just
that's
want to do
another
right by the steps.
illustration. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
another illustration of you choosing habitually or otherwise. You're choosing to see the positive in a situation that's very easy to see negative. I'm
It
I'm
can
a
be
pretty
really,
blunt
really
person,
easy.
so yeah,
Boring?
yeah.
Did you say boring?
I'm no, 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 no.
Okay, that's what I thought I heard. I
I'm a
was like, I don't think you're boring.
blunt person. I'm a
Mm,
blunt person, and so a lot of the time, if you were to go back and listen to every episode, you'll hear me say parts of autism suck, and I hate watching the
yeah.
behaviors, and I despise that my kid hits his head on the floor or hits his mother when he's mad or when you tell him no. I can't stand those things, and so it's easy to be sucked into just negative, 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 negative. And in that world, you just want to commiserate. You just want to hear somebody else say, yes, I'm going through it too, and it's awful. Ah. And that's fine. That's healthy to a degree. But what is really standing out to me in this conversation with you is that there is another option. And the other option is to say, yeah, that stuff does suck. I really don't love that about autism and the way it presents in my child. However, I do have this tiny human that sings, and he sings very well and has a great memory and has so much emotion attached, and it's all over his face, but he loves who he loves fiercely.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
um you can choose to see those things and celebrate them, or you can choose to say, oh, he, I don't know, hit me when he got mad. And I think that's a skill that I am going to apply to my own life. And when I get frustrated after an enormously long day of work and responsibility elsewhere, and then PJ has a hard time with something, there are still things that I can look at in those moments and choose positivity. And I know Kirsten, my wife, is going to listen to this and go, see, I'm going to remind you now. So hush when you're being all negative all the time. She's going to hold me accountable. I know she will. Um,
She should. I
I
need
think
someone
of
to hold
like
me
when
accountable
I
because I'm also there are times where I'm like, this stinks. Like this is
mhm,
awful. Like I have my moments, but
mhm.
I just try not to stay there too long. Like I say it, autism sucks sometimes. It really, really does. Like, did I love that Vincent pooped in his swim trunks yesterday while we were playing outside? And then I had to scoop poop out of his butt and hose his butthole down while the dog was eating said poop off the swim trunks? No, that was pretty awful. Oh, it's
I'm
chaos
making a
at my
button out
house.
of
That
that.
that's my home, my country right there, okay? My home, my country, poop in our swim trunks and the dog it falls out of the trunks and the dogs eat it. And we're just doing the best we can.
I love it. I really do.
yeah.
And that's a perfect example of my home, my country, because you could go to somebody's house who has a pool, and they're just like, please take a bath with the special soap before you get in the pool. And at my house we're like, hey, if you don't drop a stink pickle in the pool, we're good. Like we're totally fine. So
Exactly.
uh
It's happened to all the kids that come out and swim with us because we do have a lot of friends that like to come and swim. And yeah, just about all of them had dropped a deuce a time or two in the pool. I'm like, well, everybody
yeah, that's
out,
what
so I can
kids
scoop
do.
that turn.
Yeah, but you know what? Even in that, you're laughing about it right now. And there are a
I
whole lot of
am because
people
it is kind of
that
funny.
if they have to do that last month, I'm going to say, no, we're not swimming anymore because I'm never going to, Janice, are you okay?
I I've got nothing. I just
No, no, no.
I
We're an open book here at the Autism Exchange. What's up? What's going through? What's between your ears?
well, I was gonna say something, and then we sort of like went into this rabbit hole of
Of
I
what,
don't
Janice? Of what, Janice?
no, I'm not gonna say it because you're gonna make a button at it, and then I will never live down. What
Fecal
I
matter? I think we lost her at Stink Pickle.
Yeah.
yes, yes, you did.
That's when
Yes,
she
yes,
stopped
you
talking
did.
and I maybe
Yes,
stopped
Stink
breathing. I'm not
pimple.
real sure.
Gotcha.
Well, what I was gonna say before we went there was that, um, I can draw some analogies, but not all. I'm not gonna make anyway, it doesn't matter. What I was gonna say is that, um, the I don't know, just bluntly, that you pick yourself up to be the grown up in the room. And that I think it's easy to get behind some of this and just feel like you're climbing, trying to get ahead of it, trying to go forward, and you're just chasing things around. And I think, instead, you seem to sort of be the grown up in the room, filter what you're listening to. You don't need everything that is out there. You don't have to follow every single recommendation that's been thrown at you. You can choose what to do and how to live your life and how to do what's best for your son. Like that's showing up as the grown up in the room and not chasing all of these things that people are throwing at you or that you see on social media or whatnot or you hear about. And I think that's would be just that would be a great comfort to me. I think as even as I am going through different things that are unrelated, but just that reminder. Wait a minute, I'm the grown up in the room here. I can show up, and I can be sort of the grown up, and I have some agency and some choice here. And so this is how this is going to go down, and that I think can go a long way into helping to get through some of these difficult times too. Pool related or not pool related.
Did she say
So
pool, Pool, or
no, no, no.
Or
Pool?
poo.
Pool, 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 Pwool. And do not do the playback on that. Just do not do it.
I won't. I promise. My word is my word. And you really,
Okay.
although you're exactly right with your assessment of being the adult in the situation, you kind of lost me at being the adult. Hence,
Yeah.
toilet
Yeah.
humor and all of the other
Yeah.
things that have come out of my mouth on this. But you know what? It also
Mm,
is kind of who I am, and we're being raw and transparent, which is why I'm extremely thankful for you, Farha, and your time.
yes, thank
You
you.
don't have a clue, I don't think, how much you really bring to Vincent's life. And by talking to us and telling us those stories, I hope that you realize that you're kind of a rare bird in that way, that you are well ahead of where many people are. And likely those people that love to use social media to talk about how everything is so perfect and beautiful. I bet if you really pull the curtain back, you're going to see that you're really crushing it. And it's one
Yeah.
thing to put on a good show and admit that there are challenges, but it's another to just embrace those challenges and be open about them. And your story is remarkable. Your
Yeah.
story, uh, it's equally beautiful and heartbreaking to me. I'm just speaking honestly. I think there are parts of your life that nobody should have to deal with, and you have done it and you continue to do it. And when I get to see you with your son and how much he loves you and watch him grow, man, what a testament to you being wonderful for him. And the sky's
Yeah.
the limit for Vincent because of his mama.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
I
thank
really
you.
appreciate that, Michael. Thank you. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for being a part of this. I was so excited when you sent me that first one and to get to hear what you're doing. I knew immediately when I met Michael Janice, I was like, oh yeah, we made it. This is what we've been needing our whole life. These last 5 years, this is who we needed in our life. I mean, I cried. I was just like so
You need
excited. I was
somebody
like,
that
oh,
says
we're good.
stink
Oh.
We're
pickle.
good. Yeah, exactly. It was okay with me saying, and he dropped a deuce.
Yeah, exactly. You just needed somebody without the rigid professionalism in his blood, because it's
Yes.
there, but I just don't like it.
It's more
All right.
fun
Well,
the
I'm going to
other
wrap us
way.
up.
Well, thank you so much for having me on and
Right.
letting me be a part of this. This is awesome. Very different from anything I've ever heard. And I'm excited for you all. And I'm just going to keep on listening.
Oh,
I am. I'm very excited.
thank
Listen to a
you.
lot of podcasts and so good.
Well, thank you. That really means the world to us. Our goal, you've
Does.
heard us say it in every episode, our goal is nothing personal. It's not for our own gain. It's for, well, other than being able to take things that I've heard you say today and apply it to my own life. So selfishly, yes, I'm taking from this.
Yes,
But
me too.
Janice
Yeah.
and I just want to put these conversations out there so that somebody somewhere can hear it, and who knows what they're going to pull from it. It could be completely different than what I pull or what Janice pulls from it. And we're just so extremely thankful to be able to do this, and for people like you that are willing to just come and goof off and open up and share, for better or for worse, what's going on. So guys, this has been another fantastic episode of the Autism Exchange podcast. We want to communicate. We want to collaborate. We want nothing more than to have conversations like the one you just heard, in hopes that somebody somewhere can pull things from it that allows them to improve their life or the life of their loved one with a developmental disability, autism or otherwise. So thank you guys for listening. Janice Krempa, it's been a pleasure to see you again today. Please, guys, like, subscribe. You can find the Autism Exchange podcast on all of the major platforms where you find your favorite podcasts: Apple Music, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, and more. For Janice Krempa, I am Michael Coldiron. This has been the Autism Exchange podcast.
Thank you. Thank you, Farha.
Bye. Thanks for having me. See you
Michael,
all.
if you go
Talk
back
to you later.
and rename, thank you.
Thank
Michael,
you.
if you go back and you rename this episode, everybody's got poop in the pool. I'm like, we're going to have to rethink this.
I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to name this thing. And I'm not, usually I'll send you a text like, hey, are you okay with this title? Are you okay with the caption? This one, I'm just going to handle it all on my own.
Oh, no.
And if you don't like it, we'll just flush it down the toilet.
I like it.
This is why we're a balance for one another, Michael. This would be why.
I love it. It is a good
This
balance.
is so fun. All right.
We're going to have to rely on Kirsten to be a tiebreaker.
Yes,
all right, bye.
She's going to be mad at me for this one.
It's
y'all.
going to be great.
See ya.
Thank you
Bye.
all. Good talking to you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.